She walked out of her house on an ordinary Tuesday morning, and was never seen again. Her husband reported her missing. He cried on camera. He begged for information. But here's the thing, he already knew exactly where she was. Arlene Fraser was a 33-year-old mother of two living in the quiet village of Elgin, in Moray, Scotland. By 1998, her marriage to Nat Fraser was crumbling. The couple had been together for years, but Arlene had grown tired of the relationship and was actively seeking a divorce. She had reportedly confided in friends that she was done, she wanted out, she wanted a new life, and she wasn't going to back down. Nat Fraser was a fruit and vegetable merchant, a businessman with connections, money, and a fierce desire to control. To him, divorce wasn't just the end of a marriage. It was a threat to his finances, his reputation, and his ego. As legal proceedings began, Nat stood to lose a significant portion of his assets. And according to prosecutors, he decided he wasn't going to let that happen. On the morning of April 28, 1998, Arlene Fraser was seen dropping her children off at school, a perfectly normal Tuesday morning routine. She returned home to their house on Smith Street, Elgin. And then she was gone. She never picked the children up. She didn't call anyone. Her car remained at the house. Her passport was there. Her bank accounts went untouched. Everything she owned stayed behind. Arlene Fraser had simply disappeared. Nat Fraser reported her missing. He appeared in front of cameras, visibly emotional, appealing for information. The community rallied. Searches were conducted. But Arlene was nowhere to be found, and crucially, her body has never been recovered to this day. Police quickly turned their attention to Nat Fraser. The failing marriage, the divorce proceedings, the financial motive, it all pointed uncomfortably in his direction. But without a body, without physical evidence, building a murder case was extraordinarily difficult. What investigators discovered, however, was a web of deception that Nat Fraser had carefully constructed. He had recruited a man named Glenn Lucas to carry out the killing. Lucas was someone within Fraser's circle, and according to the prosecution's case, Nat Fraser had arranged for Arlene to be murdered, a calculated, premeditated act driven entirely by greed and control. The case became one of the most complex and controversial in Scottish legal history, not just because of the crime, but because of what happened in court. Nat Fraser was first convicted of murder in 2003. However, his conviction was later quashed by the UK Supreme Court in 2011 on the grounds of an irregularity in the original trial, specifically, that jurors had been exposed to prejudicial media coverage. A retrial was ordered. In 2012, Nat Fraser stood in the dock once more. And once again, the jury found him guilty of murder. He was sentenced to a minimum of 17 years in prison. Glenn Lucas had previously pled guilty to the murder and gave evidence. The prosecution painted a picture of a cold, calculated conspiracy, a husband who hired someone to kill his wife so he wouldn't have to give her what she was legally entitled to in a divorce. One of the most haunting aspects of this case is that Arlene Fraser's remains have never been located. Despite extensive searches over the years, including excavations at various locations, her family has never been given the closure of a burial, a grave to visit, or confirmation of exactly what happened in those final moments. Her children grew up without their mother. Her family has spent over 2 decades living with unanswered questions. And Nat Fraser, despite his conviction, has never revealed where Arlene's body is. The Arlene Fraser case is a stark reminder of how domestic situations, divorce, financial disputes, power and control, can escalate to the most unthinkable outcomes. It's also a masterclass in how justice can be delayed, challenged, and complicated when physical evidence is absent. It stands as one of Scotland's most chilling unsolved mysteries in one key respect: the truth of where Arlene lies remains unknown. If you found this story as haunting as I did, hit that subscribe button, because we cover cases just like this every week. And drop a comment below. Do you think Nat Fraser will ever reveal where Arlene is? Let me know. And if you want to help keep Arlene's story alive, share this video, because she deserves to be remembered.